Have you ever felt completely lost? As if everything you built, everything you believed in, was quietly crumbling right before your eyes? That sense that nothing makes sense anymore, that you're in free fall, and there's no one around to catch you. As if inside you're screaming, but on the outside you keep wearing that same mask of, "I'm fine." Maybe you're living this right now. And as strange as it seems, this could actually be a good thing. Or rather, it could be the very beginning of everything. Today I want to introduce you to an ancient, profound, and transformative concept, Nigredo. One of alchemy's most mysterious phases, yet also one of the most present in our modern lives, and a cornerstone of the deep psychology pioneered by Jung. If you're navigating a dark chapter, this video might completely change how you see your pain. So take a deep breath and come along with me. In alchemy's mysterious language, Nigredo carries deep symbolic weight. Literally, it means darkness or the black work. But don't be fooled by the simplicity of those words. They cloak one of the most intense and necessary stages in the journey of transformation, both for matter and for the soul. Nigredo is the end of the beginning, and the beginning of the end. It represents the inevitable collapse, the symbolic death of the ego, the shattering of illusions we've held on to for years, perhaps a lifetime. It's the moment when nothing holds up anymore, when everything feels lost. Scary? Absolutely, but also utterly essential. The alchemists understood this better than anyone. They believed that no impure metal could ever become gold without first rotting. Yes, rotting, decaying, blackening, dissolving entirely. And it wasn't just a lab observation. When they watched a substance decompose, they saw the soul undergoing the same process. Imagine this scene. A glass vessel perched over a gentle flame, thick black smoke spiraling upward, the pungent scent of dissolution hanging in the air. It's in this shadowy forge that transformation truly begins. And likewise, it's in life's darkest hours that the soul finds fertile ground for rebirth. Nigredo is that phase when nothing can be controlled, when the ground disappears and truth rises, naked, raw, sometimes too painful to face. But that's where the magic stirs, because only when the old dies can the new be born. Only when masks shatter can the true face emerge. In practice, Nigredo means dying to your false self so you can be reborn as who you really are. And here's one of the most powerful hooks of this entire saga. The alchemists never saw decay as an end. They saw it as the gateway to the miracle of transmutation. That's why they called it the mirror of the soul. Just as matter must break down, you too must let parts of yourself go. Beliefs that limit you, wounds you bury, roles you played to be accepted. Nigredo is when the soul cries, "Enough." It's when life forces an uncompromising pause so you can see with new eyes. So here's a question that might change everything. What if the crisis you're calling the end is actually the very start of your transmutation? Now, close your eyes for a moment and picture a medieval alchemist's lab. Stone walls illuminated by flickering candles, silence broken only by the constant hiss of mysterious liquids bubbling. There he stands, a lone figure in a dark robe, hunched over his bench, face solemn and focused, eyes locked on the slowly heating cauldron as though something sacred were about to unfold. But this isn't mere chemistry to him. For the alchemist, matter is a reflection of the soul. Every metal, every wisp of smoke, every reaction holds spiritual meaning. When he watches a substance blacken and lose shape, he doesn't just see a physical change. He sees the ego corroding, masks dissolving, soul stripped of its self-deceptions. That moment is Nigredo, chaos reigning over matter, light extinguished, gold yet unborn. Only fertile darkness remains. The alchemist doesn't flinch or flee. He stays put, because he knows that no gold emerges without first passing through darkness. While most of the world avoids pain and discomfort, the true alchemist dives in. He understands that pain isn't the enemy, it's the agent of metamorphosis. Perhaps that's why this stage was known as the trial by fire, a symbolic baptism in the flames of truth, where everything superficial burns away until only the essential remains. That's why the alchemical lab was viewed as a temple. It wasn't about turning lead into gold. It was about elevating the human spirit into something higher. And ask yourself now, are you not in your own alchemical lab right now? Isn't the pain you feel, the inner chaos, your personal cauldron bubbling, preparing the ground for something you cannot yet imagine? The truth is, Nigredo demands courage. Courage to stare into the smoke, to let the flame burn undisturbed, to allow yourself to melt, and then to be reborn. Here's a truth nobody wants to hear. Before you get better, it may get a whole lot worse. Welcome to the reality of true transformation. No healing without an open wound. No rebirth without symbolic death. No awakening without first traversing the darkness. Nigredo is that bottomless pit where the facade collapses, masks crack, and the soul screams to be free, but can only whisper amid the chaos. And yet, that pit is necessary, because only when you hit rock bottom do you finally stop falling and feel the solid earth beneath your feet. That ground, as harsh as it seems, is the launch pad for your rise, not through superficial strength, but through raw truth, awareness, and purpose. Nigredo's real power lies in its brutal honesty. It exposes what must die within you. Not a physical death, but the end of internal cycles, inherited beliefs, and old wounds. It surfaces everything that no longer serves. Relationships maintained out of habit or fear of loneliness. Self-defeating beliefs like, I'm not enough, I don't deserve this, no one truly loves me. The compulsive need to control outcomes, to plan every step, to please everyone. The false persona you crafted to gain approval, yet it was never truly you. Emotional addictions you cling to in order to numb the pain. Food, shopping, social media, workaholism, codependency. All of it must crumble. And yes, that collapse hurts. But resisting the pain is the true agony. That's why Nigredo is unavoidable. It's the deep cleanse of the soul, a near-surgical process where life strips away every structure that once held you upright, yet prevented true growth. You might try to run, distract yourself, pretend everything's fine. But the louder you run, the closer Nigredo edges in, beckoning, shouting, demanding your attention. And one day you'll find yourself in the heart of the storm, wondering how you got there. Now you know it happened because what supported you was rotten. So here's my invitation. Look at your life. What's begging to die within you? What's silently corroding your spirit? What have you clung to out of fear? Perhaps the pain you feel today is simply the dawn of your own rebirth. When Carl Gustav Jung, Freud's renegade disciple, delved into the psyche's symbolic universe, he uncovered a remarkable truth. The ancient alchemists weren't merely trying to transmute metals. They were, unwittingly, mapping the soul's hidden transformations. So Jung did something revolutionary. He rescued alchemical symbols as the language to explain inner change. For Jung, Nigredo wasn't just a lab stage, it was a psychic reality. He called this moment the encounter with the shadow. And make no mistake, shadow isn't a vague metaphor. It's everything you refuse to acknowledge in yourself. Your primal fears, unexpressed rage, silent envy, buried shame, disguised vanity, controlling impulses, and the dependency you mask as independence. All the parts of you that society brands ugly, wrong, or inappropriate, these crash to the surface when Nigredo strikes. It's terrifying, but here's a profound twist. The shadow you avoid is the part of you most in need of love. Keep running from it, and you wage war on yourself. Always proving, always pleasing, always performing an edited version of who you are. Dare to look at your darkness, to accept your anger, grief, jealousy, impulses, and you begin to integrate your shadow. That's when the real magic happens. Nigredo transforms from nightmare to sacred invitation. An invitation to radical self-knowledge, not through slogans or shallow spirituality, but through honest confrontation of your deepest wounds. And Jung showed us that this confrontation is the start of genuine healing. What you acknowledge, you can transform. What you reject controls you. Ask yourself, what have you kept hidden from your own view? And if you stopped running, who might you become? So far, we've journeyed through ancient labs and deep psyche. Now let's ground this in everyday reality, where Nigredo truly unfolds. Because Nigredo isn't confined to medieval manuscripts or Jung's theories. It's here, right now, in your daily life, and you might have already weathered it without naming it. You see it when you lose your job and suddenly question your worth beyond what you do. A relationship ends, and you feel half of yourself walking away. Depression creeps in so quietly that you lose your spark. Nothing excites you, nothing motivates you. You realize you're living someone else's script, a job you hate, a draining routine, relationships that don't nourish you. That is Nigredo in action. It tears away the superficial to reveal the essential. And here's a powerful paradox. Nigredo destroys who you thought you were so that it can unveil who you truly are. When life seems in ruins, remember, ruins are fertile ground. It's where new life takes root. Once Nigredo arrives, most of us do one thing instinctively. We resist. We plaster on empty smiles, we post happy selfies, we claim, I'm okay, even as we crumble inside. Pain becomes failure, sadness, weakness. Crisis signals that something is catastrophically wrong. But what if crisis is your greatest ally? What if collapse is the prelude to reconstruction? What if sadness is simply your soul alerting you that you're living far from your true self? Yes, Nigredo stings. But the real harm isn't the pain, it's how fiercely we dodge it. We live in a culture obsessed with instant success, constant grins, and flawless facades. Meanwhile, the unseen, the inner, the essential languishes. We numb out with endless scrolling, binge-watching, shopping, substances, quick-fix promises. Pain buries deeper, until one day it erupts, and there's no more hiding. Nigredo comes to excavate what you've long buried, traumas, anger, guilt. It strips the soul bare. Resist, and you stay trapped in roles that don't fit, old wounds that go unhealed. Release and Nigredo transforms from nightmare to rite of passage. So ask yourself, what are you resisting feeling? And what might happen if you stopped running? Let's journey into the hidden cinema of the mind, your dreams. For Jung, dreams are urgent messages from the unconscious. Many of these messages arrive in the guise of Nigredo symbolism: decaying bodies, dead animals, crumbling ruins, endless falls, drowning, dark tunnels, cemeteries, black and white scenes, paralysis, suffocating gloom. These aren't bad dreams, they're sacred. Your psyche screaming, something within you must die before you can live. Transformation starts invisibly. Before you quit your job or end a relationship, your unconscious has already set the stage. Heed these dreams. Note the symbols. They reveal what your waking mind resists, As you integrate their wisdom, the nightmares shift to omens of rebirth. Clear water, emerging light, flight, ascending staircases, cleansing rain. Your unconscious whispers. Thank you for listening. Now let's move forward. Knowing Nigredo's power begs the question, what now? How do you navigate when you're in the thick of the dark night? First, hear this. You don't fix anything by force. Nigredo calls you to stop. Stop pretending, stop fleeing, stop distracting. What you need is presence, not speed. 1. Embrace the chaos without merging with it. You feel pain, but you're not your pain. Saying, I'm here, unsure but present, already shifts the inner landscape. 2. Map your patterns with brutal honesty. Identify repeating relationships, self-sabotage loops. Ask, what's dying in me? And what does that reveal about who I've tried to be? 3. Write it out. Pour your darkest thoughts onto paper, uncensored. Ink that which you can't yet speak. The page holds your unspoken truths, beginning the healing. 4. Honor your dreams. Record them. Patterns and symbols emerge over time, pointing to your soul's needs. 5. Seek support. Bravery includes asking for help. Therapists, soul friends, support groups, let another witness your pain. 6. Ritualize your ends. Celebrate closures, write goodbye letters, light candles, let go with gratitude. Nigredo isn't time. It has one purpose, to return you to your authentic self. What comes after Nigredo? After the dark night, the soul asks, will this end? Is there something beyond? Yes. And that something is you, newly awakened. Alchemy teaches that Nigredo is only step 1 of the great work. Next arrives albedo, the white phase, purification, gentle light after the storm. Colors return, energy flows. You feel lighter, not as before, but renewed, aligned with your truth. Albedo won't arrive in a fanfare. It whispers, I feel different, maybe stronger. I sense light returning. Remember, darkness doesn't destroy, it sculpts. Pain births your truest self. After the night comes the dawn. Nigredo is not the end. It's the crucible of rebirth, the silent pause before first steps, the fertile darkness before dawn. If you're in that darkness now, don't run, don't anesthetize, don't distract. Stay, feel, listen. Transformation. And remember, after Nigredo comes albedo, and after albedo, rubedo, the red fire of fulfillment. But it all begins here, in the darkness. And from this darkness you will emerge. What part of you is being reborn right now? Share in the comments. Speaking is integrating, and integration is healing.